The diner went silent the moment his hand struck her cheek. Plates clattered. Coffee spilled. An elderly black woman, maybe in her 70s, stood trembling beside her seat, eyes wide, lips quivering. The man who hit her sneered. "Watch where you're going, lady," he spat, loud enough for everyone to hear. No one moved. No one spoke. She just whispered, "You shouldn't have done that." The bully laughed. "Oh, yeah? What's an old woman like you gonna do?" But somewhere outside, a black SUV pulled into the parking lot. Tinted windows, silent engine. Someone was about to find out what she meant. Martha Johnson had been coming to that diner every Sunday for 20 years. It was her ritual: coffee, blueberry pancakes, and a crossword. She was quiet, polite, the kind of woman who tipped extra just to make someone's day. That morning, she wore her Sunday hat, the same one her late husband loved. The man who hit her, Brad, had swaggered in half-drunk from the bar next door. He was the type who liked being loud, liked being seen. And when Martha accidentally brushed past him with her coffee, a few drops spilled on his sleeve. He snapped. "You people think you can just—" He barked, but didn't finish. The waitress froze. The manager pretended to busy himself with the register. Even the cook peeked through the kitchen window, but said nothing. Martha stood still, shaking, not out of fear but out of disappointment. She sighed quietly. "You don't know who you're talking to." Brad smirked. "Yeah? Who are you gonna call? Your knitting club." She didn't answer. She just sat down again and dialed one number on her old flip phone. Brad wasn't done. He strutted around the diner, ranting. "These old folks think they own the place, acting like they're better than us." No one looked at him, but Martha kept her eyes on the window, calm, still as if she were waiting. The waitress whispered, "Ma'am, should I call the police?" Martha shook her head. "No, dear. Someone's already coming." Brad snorted. "What, your son? Let him come. I'll teach him some manners, too." Minutes dragged by like hours. Then, the rumble of an engine outside. 3 men in suits stepped out of the black SUV. No words, no rush. They moved with the kind of calm that makes a room freeze. One of them opened the diner door, scanning quietly. "Mama," he said. Just that one word. Brad turned, confused. "Wait, that's your son?" The tallest man, sharp suit, cold eyes, stepped closer. His voice was low, measured. "Did you put your hands on my mother?" The air felt heavy. Even the neon sign outside buzzed quieter. Brad tried to laugh it off. "Hey, man, it was a mistake. She spilled coffee." Before he finished, one of the suited men placed a hand on his shoulder. Not violent, just firm. But Brad's face went pale. He felt the strength behind that simple touch. Martha looked up. "Tony, please, no scenes." Tony smiled softly at her, the first warmth he'd shown. "For you, Mama? Never." Then he turned to Brad again. "You ever hear of the Russo family?" Brad stammered. The Mafia guys?" "Yeah, sure, everyone's heard of them." Tony's grin vanished. "Good. Then you already know what happens when someone disrespects family." The diner realized it all at once. She wasn't just some elderly woman. She was Martha Russo, widow of the late Don Russo, the old boss everyone thought had retired quietly years ago. Her son, Tony Russo, had taken over, clean on paper, ruthless underneath. Brad's legs went weak. I didn't know." Tony leaned close. "That's the problem with you people. You don't think before you act." He nodded once. 2 men escorted Brad outside, calm, polite, as if taking out the trash. No shouting, no threats, just quiet efficiency. Through the window, everyone saw Brad's car being towed away by a different black SUV. No one ever saw Brad in that diner again. Tony sat across from his mother, poured her coffee, and said softly, "You okay, Mama?" She smiled. "Always am. You didn't hurt him, did you?" Tony shrugged. Let's just say he won to be raising his voice to another woman again. The waitress hesitated before bringing the check, whispering, "Ma'am, I'm sorry we didn't do anything." Martha reached out and squeezed her hand. "You did more than most, sweetheart. You stayed." The diner slowly came back to life. Conversations returned. But every eye held a new kind of respect and a quiet fear. As Martha left, she paused by the door and looked back. "You know," she said softly, "sometimes the world needs to be reminded. Respect isn't optional." Tony opened the door for her, and the two stepped into the sunlight. The black SUVs rolled away in silence. Inside, no one dared touch her empty cup. Never mistake kindness for weakness, because sometimes the gentlest souls have the most powerful protectors.